What are you doing up? You're meant to be asleep. Not surprising you can't after the days, weeks, God, feels like years after the time we've had. But that being said, you still need rest. You need sleep. Don't worry about me. I'm just taking the first watch. Some of the others will be awake to take the next ones. Besides, I got some rest halfway between some of those battles. I'll be fine till then. No, you're not taking a watch. I don't care that you're awake now, you shouldn't be. Besides, we need you rested more than any of the rest of us. So we can handle some time without you, can we? Are you forgetting the time you took 2 days away from us? I still don't know how they set half that town on fire. It was mostly made of stone. Anyway, you need rest. We need you to rest. Everyone, including yourself, needs you to rest. So do it. Sleep, please. None of us can do what you can. Me? How hard did you get hit in that last battle? Nah, we're all too stubborn to listen to each other. No matter what any of us like to say, you're the only one who can get through to us. Well, what can I do to help you sleep? A story? Gods. I'm not the storyteller in our group, you know that. Alright. Will you get comfortable? Okay, let me think. Not telling you of any of the battles, you were there for all of them. And none of the hijinks. Yeah, that'll just get under your skin. Alright. Before I met with this group, I ever tell you the time I had a pet bear? Yeah, alright. I'll tell you that. So, I was traveling for a bit. It was about 6 months before I met you lot. And, was going through the woods, camping mostly by myself. Met a few travelers here and there, but one day, I noticed the woods had gone pretty quiet. Never a good sign. And, well, I hunkered down for a bit. And I heard this, mewing sound of some sort of baby animal. And, well, just sitting there for about an hour or so, got up and started slowly making my way towards it. And there I saw this huge brown mound and a slight clearing, just enough to let some light through this thick canopy I was in. There was just a few days before. No, not even a few days, maybe a day before I just got out of this village. All the naturey types, you know. Ones who can grow the plants and connect with nature, speak with animals, all those types. Yeah, them. I just went through there. And they told me these stories of protectors of the village. They call them animals, but bigger than they should be. So I figured this huge lump of fur in the middle of this kind of clearing was one of them, right? But it wasn't moving much. It was a bit, though. Enough to have me consider just leaving. But I also noticed in the clearing there was red. Some of the leaves, some of the trees, and on the ground around it. There was still this mewing sound, like a little critter was hurt. So, kind of made my way around the edge of the clearing. No, I didn't go right to it. Seems like a good way to get dead. But I made my way around and saw the front of it, and there was the biggest bear I ever seen, even to this day. And it had a little cub, right sitting next to its face. And blood was coming from the big bear. Cub had some on its paws, I could tell. But it looked like the bear was in a bad way. So, I started walking towards it. How I thought that was a good idea, I never know, but anyway, I did it. And this big bear looked at me, lifted its head with the last of its strength, and gave a hell of a growl. Put me in the mind to get out of there, but I don't know if I lost my sense that day. I didn't. And so, kind of got down low, started talking to it. Hey, buddy, gonna be alright now. Ain't no threat. Ain't here to hurt you. It's alright, buddy. I got closer and closer. It's okay. You're okay. I'm gonna help you and your little cub out. It's alright. And closer and closer. It's alright now. Alright. And just as I got not an arm's, an arm's length away from it, it looked at me. And if it was able to lift its paw, it could have snapped me in two. And I got a little closer still. And I put my back down, my backpack, and it's like, alright now. I heard of you. You're meant to be protecting this place and your little cub there. You can't do that from the ground. So, I got these potions, and I started going through one of the side parts of my bag, and I kept talking to it. So I'm just gonna pull this out, and I pulled out the little potion. And if you drink this, buddy, you can get back up and tend to your cub there, but I also really want you to not kill me. So if you do that, please just don't swipe at me, buddy. And so I popped open the potion and got a little closer. Just where my arm, gosh, it was, if that thing moved a few, just so close, it could have taken my hand right off. I went, okay, buddy. Gonna have to open your mouth for me. By this time, it didn't have strength to hold its head up. I realized it didn't have strength to even open its mouth. So I don't know what possessed me to, but I went over, sat right down in front of it, and put one hand on one side of its head and the other hand with the potion, the other side, and just kind of pulled its jaws apart and slipped the potion in and let it run down its throat. I tell you, those canines, they were about as big as my hand. I swear to you that. I don't even know how I managed to get the jaw open. It must have had some strength left in it to do it, because I could not have done it myself. But I drank it, and I was able to get the bottle out. And then the wounds started to close. And I just looked at it, and this little cub, little thing, started pawing at my pants, and I'll be honest, I forgot it was there. I was so dang terrified. Like, you've seen what we faced. But what we faced is normally behind a shield and prepared. I was out here, sure, I had my armor on, but that thing could have taken my head. It wouldn't, like it was nothing. But it didn't. Wounds started to heal, and that little cub started pawing at my leg, and I looked down and looked up at me and just crawled right into my lap. And I was just like, how am I gonna get out of this without getting eaten? And I tried to lift the cub up. It started throwing a fit. And the big bear started to get up when it did. So I placed it back in my lap. It calmed right down. So did the big bear. So I must have sat there. Now we're just watching this big beast slowly but surely get its energy back, its life back. But there was still something not right. I can't describe it well, but it had these dark veins, I suppose, almost like cracks going through it where the slices were. And I knew it wasn't well. So when it got up and tried to stood for the first time, it fell back down. By the third attempt, it was able to stand, but it wasn't right. Something had gotten into it. And well, I knew if I just left it there, I would have just assigned it to a slow death instead of a quick one, and I couldn't stand that. You know me, I'm not the most sentimental of type, but to leave an animal to suffer like that? No. And well, I'd heard in the village while I was there that some of them would be able to tend to the big guys in the forest, their protectors, and it's like, alright, now how do I get you to follow me back to the village so they can help you? And I looked down in my lap at the cub, and I looked up at the big bear, and I'm like, well, you're gonna go where the cub goes. This is either a really good or really bad idea. So I gently, carefully, talking to the bear the whole time. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna just stand up here with your little friends, with your baby. I stood up slowly, and you, me, and the baby are gonna go back to the village, and you're not gonna eat me along the way. And I don't know, I swear that big bear understood me. So I got my pack, that little bear, man, it had sharp claws. It clinged right to my armor, and I was very thankful it did. Because if it got on my shoulders, that would hurt. I also did have to wear my armor after that because those claws sliced pretty clean through. Man, if that's what the little one could do. Ooh. Anyway, got the backpack on, and yeah, we set off slowly but surely. Walked back. Took about a day and a half to get back. Poor thing couldn't move much. Could move a lot, but how do I say it? Like it was hurting every time it walked. But I think for its little cub, it knew it had to keep going. During the night when we needed to sleep, to rest, made a fire for it and went scavenging. Was able to get quite a lot of food, lots of berries that time of year. It was in the spring, but didn't get to eat much that night. Those bears, they are hungry, and one that big, yeah, needed a lot of food too. It was healing, right? So, got back to the village eventually, and they had a clearing so they could see all around. Most of it went out into the clearing, and the second they saw a big barrier, one of their protectors with me, horns started going off, and flags started to go, and that only lasted though for a bit. Not but a few seconds, I think. Then it went quiet. Really quiet. And the gates, which normally a bit opened fully as big gates, like huge trees in the middle of it. And as we got pretty close, inside the opening was what I'd just slightly seen before when I first went through. The odors of the village. And they saw me coming and they waved me in with a big bear, and they walked in front of us. It was like I was in a parade of, three. Little guy didn't know what to do with themselves. I was still carrying him. Just snuggled into me. I don't think he liked all the people. But, went to this big building in the center, big dome. And, I went in with him. And the big bear just, like it knew where to go. Laid in the center, this big mat they had in the center. And most of the elders started going around it with a few others, and I don't know what they were doing, some type of ritual. These vines, or roots maybe, I don't entirely know, started to encase the bear and almost looked like they attached to it. But as this was happening, I went ahead of the bear and just to tell him, we're here, and I hope you get well, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking, like it was gonna answer back. But I looked at it, and it just looked at me. Like, I don't know if it was trying to say thank you or what, but there was something there. And then it looked to its cub and back to me, and one of the odors came to me just as it was, I guess, going to sleep. And it finally laid down its head and was resting. And the odor told me that it'll be there for a few months. It was poisoned by something violent. It'll have to be drained out of its system, but it can only be done a little at a time. Because of, I suppose, how toxic whatever got into it was. And repair the damage that was already done. And so I said, alright, well, I brought it here. What about the cub? And this elder looked to me and said, well, congratulations. You now have a cub to take care of until it wakes. Oh boy. I must have asked those elders a dozen times if there was not something else that could be done. But no, apparently, the protector chose me, and I was to be the one to guard the cub. And so, for about 2.5 months, you know how bears like to sleep. 2.5 months, I had my own little pet cub. And that little guy, well, we got up to some adventures, that's for sure. Couldn't leave much beyond the village, but could stay within the forest. Oh, some fun times. Interesting times. Are you? Well, I guess that wasn't such a bad story if it got you to sleep. Who knows? Maybe I'll tell you some of the adventures we got up to another time. But for now, rest. And know that you're important. You're important to us. Precious to us. And we couldn't do what we do without you. I really hope you know that. I really do. Because it's true. We couldn't do what we do without you. Rest well.